Shalom, welcome. This is Avraham Shira from the holy city of Tzfat in northern Israel. You can see behind me Har Meron, the mountain of the Zohar. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is buried there with his son Rabbi Eliezer and many of the great tzaddikim of the past. It is a holy place here, and we are on a balcony of a friend of ours who was generous enough to let us come here and film and talk about Tzfat and talk about some of the amazing connections that this holy city has with the human being and our structure, our place in the universe, and of course Shabbos peace. We know that a human being is made of four elements: air, earth, water, and fire. And as is taught in Chinese medicine, and the kabbalah also teaches that true health is balance between those four elements. That we want to be healthy, we need to balance the power of fire in us, the power of water in us, the power of air, and the power of earth. These four elements are found everywhere in the physical world, and without them, we wouldn't have balance. And without balance, of course, we have chaos. And true peace is the achieving of balance between these elements in ourselves and, of course, in the world around us. A great deal of science strives to harness nature, and that also has to do with creating balance. But nonetheless, on Shabbat, which is coming in a few hours here to the Galil, we have a time where peace is given to us. Inner peace is created through the Shabbat itself. But we also, as individuals, of course, we go into Shabbat feeling chaos, we feel pressured, we feel time is short, we have to do so many things to get ready to receive the holy day. So how do we create that balance, and certainly between the elements? Well, the rabbis have also taught us that the four holy cities of Israel, Jerusalem, Tzfat, Tiberias, and Hebron, represent these four elements that are in the body. What is this teaching us? Why is this useful to us? That if I go to Tiberias, I like water more, and in Tzfat I like air more, and in Jerusalem I like fire, and earth, and in Hebron I feel the earth? Well, not exactly. What we want to understand is that the location in Eretz Yisrael, in this case Tzfat, arouses the root of the soul that's connected to air. Because our soul is traveling on conduits, on literally tzinorot in Hebrew, vessels of soul power come to us through these elements, through the air, the earth, the water, and the fire. So when you go to a holy place, you are arousing that root within your soul. So air has a certain quality that, of course, all the other elements don't have. And Tzfat, being the city of air, you automatically feel the impact of air on your soul. Now, peace and meditation go hand in hand with this idea of air, because we use our breath to achieve inner peace. Taking that long breath or letting loose that easy sigh creates a certain level of harmony within a person. And Shabbat is the time, of course, God gives us to practice these things, that we don't have to think about anything else but this idea of achieving peace with the universe and peace with our Creator. And, of course, peace with ourselves. So, when we look at it, it's very interesting that all four elements are actually at war with each other. The rabbis teach that if the fire center in the body was allowed to empower itself, it would dry out all the fluids in the body, it would dry out the air in the body, and it would burn up the earth element in the body. And so too, if a person's water element is way out of balance, it's going to flood everything. It's going to put out your fire. It's going to dampen your breath. It's going to weaken your mineral or earth system. And the same is true with too much air. We know that air will make someone ungrounded. Air will cause people to speak too much and to say the wrong things. And of course, earth, Rabbi Nachman teaches, is related to sadness and depression. It's quiet, it sinks, it's down, it allows the entire human race to walk upon it. So this is these four elements are really not at peace with each other. And man was created to achieve peace with those elements, actually to impose peace on these elements. Now, how do you impose peace? Because can you force peace? Generally when we associate peace, we associate to surrender, quiet, acceptance, love. These are the qualities we generally associate with peace. But the truth is, that's the net result of our effort. But we still have to make an effort, so that if I'm angry, I need to impose peace on my anger. And if I'm sad, I need to impose joy upon my sadness. And if I'm full of desire, which corresponds to the water kingdom, then I need to thin out that water, to refine that desire. And so too with air. When the air power is too great, a person needs to learn silence. A person needs to learn center and come to a place where I don't have this continuous urge to talk, which you see a lot around these days. People need to talk because they need to be heard. Why do I need to be heard? Because I haven't felt honored before. I haven't felt cherished before. I haven't felt precious enough that people will listen to me. So I talk, hoping people will listen. This is a quality that we all have to work on. And so the four elements that are working in the body, we are created to master those elements. But we shouldn't think that peace is just a natural thing. Peace is the result of hard work and in creating harmony between these elements. And of course, Tzfat, being the city of air, is the place where we get help from the side of the air element in our soul, through deep breathing, through conscious breathing, through using breath as a modulator of the fire system in the body. So when we learn to breathe, we learn to modulate our fire. And it's interesting, right? When you use air and fire together, you can modulate the flame on a campfire or on a candle, wherever it might be. And so too, air is a tool that God uses to channel water, so that air has power over water when it comes to the currents in the sea or channels of water in rivers. The air is having a direct impact on the water element, and so too in our bodies. The rabbis teach us in Tikkunei Zohar, one of the great books of the Zohar, an amazing thing. Listen close. That just as the air blows upon a river, so too does the soul blow upon our bloodstream. It's worth repeating. As the air blows on a river, so too the soul rides along our bloodstream. And so that understand that the air is controlling to a great deal our pulse. And our pulse is, of course, affecting directly our inner peace. And so when we control our breath, we can control our inner peace. And then we can come to this great Shabbat, this time in space that's allotted for creating inner peace. Okay, so in Tzfat here, I first came to Israel 30 years ago. I got up this morning and I was just amazed. I looked back at the 30 years that I've spent here in Israel, and I have tremendous gratitude to our Creator and to the people of Israel and to the people of Tzfat, because this was like the place I spent my childhood in Judaism. And if you want to do one thing in your life for yourself, if you want to go to one place in your life for your soul, come to Tzfat. Jerusalem is an awesome city. It's the city of fire. It's the city of desire. It's the city of power. It's the city of revelation. But Tzfat is the city of contemplation and inner peace, the city of meditation. And that's why the Arizal, the holy Rabbi Yitzhak Luria, and his student Rabbi Chaim Vital, and the Ramak, and Rabbi Avraham Yeshua Heschel, and the Baal Yusarim of Chabad, and so many great rabbis have come to Tzfat, because it's a place really to get away from the maddened crowd, as Thomas Hardy used to say, to get away from the high-paced living that we've come to accept as normal. But I'm not so sure it's really normal. So everyone should really bless themselves with a little time in this holy place. Every time I come here, I walk the streets at night, and I feel a part of myself is still here. So I'm just reconnecting back. And that's the power of memory. And memory is not just a recording in your brain. Memory is a link between the past and the present. And memory becomes prophecy when you remember the future. So that's another Shira that we've learned. We've worked on this idea in our meditation classes on Patreon. I welcome you to check those out. Another idea we see about air and the city of Tzfat is that air blows away dust. It blows away earth. That, if you drive around Israel, you see these ruins and they're half buried. I'm wondering, how do they get half buried? Nobody came along with a shovel and just buried these ancient houses. But over the millennium, dust in the air has created earth that covers these ruins. So you see, air has power to remove physicality, Rabbi Nachman says, that the materialism that's in our soul can be removed by air, which again is our deep breath. So even when I'm extremely attached to my physical life, and I'm always thinking about whether it's I have to wash my car or I have to cook the chicken, whatever physical thing that I'm engaged with just sitting down and taking a few deep breaths, we release that attachment. And that's part of being a master of your elements, that you can recognize when I need some peace and I need to get some more air in my system. I also get up in the morning and I need to get some fire under that kettle to get up and get going. So we have to raise up the fire. Usually by opening a piece of Torah, automatically the fire starts getting stoked in the soul. And then sometimes I'm sad. And so I have to look at why I'm sad and what I can do to make myself happy. And of course we said about the element of water, that water is the conduit of life force in the entire natural kingdom. And so certainly I have to look at how much water is going into my system, how balanced it is, how clean it is, and what is added to the water. There's a lot of things people put in water. We're not going to go into that too much, but we know that it can knock out our personal inner balance. And of course, that knocks out peace. So really, this work is happening amazingly, not just on our own individual level, but on the whole planet is working with these four elements, creating balance. That if there's too much fire, if there's too much air, too much water, too much earth, the nature itself is going to revolve around creating balance where it has been lost. And certainly natural disasters are called natural disasters because they're disastrous to human beings. But if we look at the total system of what's happening in this planet and in its relationship to the moon and the sun, we automatically understand that there are perturbations in the Earth's orbit where the changes need to occur. So I'm no expert in global warming, nor am I an expert in astronomy. But I've read a little bit, enough to know that what is taught in the outer sciences is taught in the inner science of Kabbalah, and that there has to be adjustments in all the systems to continually achieve or strive for balance. So the goal is not a static state of peace, by the way. This is a mistake that we make. It's just like people in love. They want to always stay in love. We never stay in love always. Love is a conduit. It goes up, it goes down. It has its peaks and has its valleys. And a mature person understands that and accepts, well, right now I don't feel so much love. I need to work on that. And so too in the four elements in our body. And we see it all around us in the planet, in the way that the earth is in operation with the sun and the moon. And it's just a greater praise for our Creator who put together this amazing system that we live in. All right, so I think Shabbat is coming. I'm looking through my notes here, and in Tzfat you'll notice that you get these instant inspirations all the time. You turn around and something clicks. You meet someone you haven't seen in years. You turn around and a memory flashes. It's this place where the past comes alive, really. And I think that's important, especially to the newly religious, about tshuva, because it helps us connect to the ancient quality of Judaism. That it's not all about just here and now, my needs for today, and what the news is telling me my needs are, but it is about connecting to the past. That gives us stability and continuity. So to end with, I think in this holy city, it's easier to breathe. And when it's easier to breathe, it's easier to come to our center, easier to come to peace. We're going to do, I'm going to film a meditation that we'll probably post on Patreon and YouTube later in the week. But, I encourage everybody, people often think, oh, I should meditate. I'll meditate later. No, but if you get the thought to do something holy, do it right then and there. Do yourself a favor. Rabbi Nachman says, when you walk down the street and you get an idea to pray, don't just think about, okay, I'll pray later. No, if you get that idea in the corner of Yafo and the Shuk, that means a prayer needs to be prayed in that little space of time. And that's what the Baal Shem Tov is teaching us, that every world is time, space, and intention. So even if you're sitting on a balcony overlooking Tzfat and you get an idea to pray for somebody, pray for them, because maybe that's exactly what they need right at that moment in time, halfway around the world. And this is only reinforcing our understanding that we live on an integrated international network of soul. The Jewish people are the paradigm of that power, and all the human race is the receiver and giver of that system to all the other nations. So we have to do our work, and then the nations receive from that, and we have this symbiotic relationship. And that's really where world peace is going to happen. It's not going to happen in the United Nations, I'm afraid, or in the EU. It doesn't look like it, right? But it does happen when we achieve our own inner peace. The external peace begins to grow. So I have this urge that wish time was suspended right now, and that we could just be here forever. But you know what? Forever is here, in the now. So let's stop for a moment. Give yourself that 3 or 4 deep breaths wherever you are. Close your eyes and receive. The beginning of Shabbat is coming now, and it is paving the way for greater and greater insight and inspiration this holy day. Have a great Shabbat. We'll see you next week on all the platforms. God bless.